Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Waves of Communication channel. My name is Marci Melzer. I'm an intuitive speech language pathologist and language facilitation coach and consultant. And today, as usual, we're doing language facilitation coaching. And the topic that we're going to be talking about is this one, where the late talking child is too independent. And when I talk about too independent, that usually means that the child is not connected. They're not interested in connecting with you. And we know that connection is the key to spoken language development. So I actually have some case studies from families, 3 questions from families that have come through in the past week about this topic. And usually what happens on this channel is parents post their questions about the struggles they're having, the problems they're encountering in their world with their late talker. And what we do then is we dig into these questions, we figure out why it's happening and what you can do. So on this video, after I talk about these questions, I am going to share with you 5 reasons that late talkers choose to do their own thing, talk their own way, be their own way, do things their own way, when even attractive cooperative activities are available around them, and they choose to ignore those things and then go and do the things they do. So we're going to be talking about 5 reasons that happens. And then, of course, as usual, after I talk about those 5 reasons, we're going to talk about 5 things. As soon as I talk about the reason, I'm going to share what you can do as a language facilitator to help these independent late talkers bring their genius ideas out into the world. Because remember, they're isolating, they're keeping all of their genius, all of their wonderfulness, all of their wisdom in their own mind, in their own self. They're not sharing it cooperatively with the world. So that's the idea here, is when we can facilitate this cooperative learning experience, then the late talkers do choose to share their wisdom with you in the cooperative experience. And then through that experience, you can help them share it with the world. So if you have a question on this video, you're welcome to post it in the comments. We'll see if we can get to them after. But I want to tell you about the questions that I've previously received, because like I said, these are the situations that are causing parents to be in this place. Okay. And the first one is this. So there's a 5-year-old late talker with previous ear infections. Okay. So this child was not talking at maybe 2 and even 3, but now this child's 5, and there's lots of understanding, lots of knowledge, a happy, secure child, developing beautifully, learning to read, learning to do math, learning to do lots of other things, and extremely bright. This child missed out on various building blocks of language because this child suffered a lot of previous ear infections. And as this child evolved, he evolved in an independent communication manner, using a lot of behavior as his communication tool. And here's what this mom says. He needs it now. This language that he was missing, he needs it. How does she know he needs it? Because his thoughts are so detailed, he's communicating them nonverbally, and he can't express them with words, so he gets frustrated. Because remember, these kids at this stage, they want to be able to talk about what they are thinking about, and they are not just thinking about what they're doing, they are thinking about why they are doing it, they are thinking about how they are doing it, they are thinking about how they don't want to do it and why they don't want it. They're thinking about all those other things, whys and hows and becauses and opinions and previous experiences and future projections and their own expectations of themselves on top of the expectations that they're getting from the world, right? And so they're frustrated because they're thinking about all these things, but they don't have the language. They missed it. All right. So that's one scenario. Here is another one. I feel that my late talker has tons of language within him, but he's made it a habit of not talking, right? He's isolating, he's keeping his language to himself. His understanding is really improving on an everyday basis, but he's not speaking. Are some late talkers reluctant to speak? Yes, they are. And there are 5 reasons, and we're going to talk about it today. All right. And here's another one. And this came on a video, the Einstein syndrome video, which many of you I know have watched. And this is definitely an Einstein syndrome kid. And this is a comment from a dad. Listen to this explanation of this dad's struggle, his frustration right now. His 4-year-old, this is definitely an Einstein syndrome kid, right? Can recognize simple words and can count up to and recognize numbers up to 4 digits. He can count in powers of 10 up to 100 octillion, which I don't even know if I can do. But, and the big capital but, when I ask him a question, he often just repeats the question. Do you want a Coke was the example he gave, and the child just says, do you want a Coke? But when the dad will dig in and say, he tells exactly what he does. And this is what I love when you do in your comments. You talk about how you are acting with the child currently. What are your current habits of language facilitation? When we understand what those are, and when you understand what those are, then you learn what you need to change. So obviously this dad is not happy with the outcomes that he's getting. And what he's doing right now is he's getting this kid. He says, look at me. Look in my eyes, and how do you ask? Like, he's prompting the child, and then of course the prompt does stop for a minute, look at me and say, please, can I have a Coke? So we know these kids are capable, just like the last one. The language is in there, but they're not using it unless they're prompted. Let's learn more about this super smart Einstein late talker. He doesn't comprehend this father's opinion is, he believes that his child who can count by tens to octillion is already starting to read. This dad believes that this child doesn't comprehend things like other kids, like what is the girl doing? So if he's looking over there or maybe looking at a picture, what is the girl doing? This is real common ways for people to test a child's comprehension. If this child's skilled enough to know numbers and start to read, well, he should be able to say what the girl is doing if she's bouncing a ball or, swimming or whatever the picture is, right? But the child isn't skilled at answering questions. I don't think he even knows what a girl is. Now, do you really believe that this child who can count by tens to octillions doesn't know what a girl is? A 4-year-old child doesn't know what a girl is who goes to school with boys and girls? I don't believe it. But he doesn't ask and or respond to questions without being prompted. This child is prompt dependent, right? But let's learn more about the situation that this father perceives about his child. When he sees, he does. I think he does. He does even know what a girl is. Of course, this dad thinks his son knows what a girl is, but he thinks he's just doing this talking because it's what he's remembered he's supposed to say. So if this child's memorized. He's memorized how to identify words. He's identified how to identify these numbers and relate and understand and use them in, building words and counting by tens and even using these numbers in his own fun way. And that's what's going on here is that as far as his interaction with the adult, he's not doing it. But let's learn more. There's even more, right? He's very friendly. The same child who is isolated is very friendly and personable, but he doesn't really engage with other kids or have a great level of interaction or interest for his age. So how does this dad know he's friendly and personable? Because he's very selective when he does it. So he is personable. He can be personal. He can even bring his, hey, look at what I did. And don't you want to watch me? And all of those kind of cooperative engagement things. However, he's selective. He's selective in who he brings his interests to. Okay, there's more about this late talker. Other kids, this is how this dad knows. He's observed the child at daycare and he'll walk in the room and hear other kids say, your dad's here. And this late talker doesn't acknowledge any of that. he doesn't even know the names of the other kids, or that they have dads, or the dads are coming to get him and all of that stuff. He doesn't believe his child is even aware of the environment and that this is a typical thing that happens, or that it's important to him, right? And he seems extremely smart, obviously extremely smart, always building things, and can sit for hours alone, just connecting magnet blocks into elaborate sculptures, okay? And I really just wonder if there's anything I should or could do to help him where he's weak, or if it's just gonna change one day. And this is the big point of the question that I really want to let everybody know. It's not going to change. There are things that have triggered this into existence, these habits of isolation into existence, and they're not going to change unless you facilitate the change as the facilitator. Okay, so let's talk about why it happens, and what you can do. And I even have some video examples. We're just going to really talk through this. So before we get started, like this video, share it with your friends, and I just want to take a little momentary break now that people are joined, because I want to share with you the opportunity to join my newsletter. If you like the kind of videos that I do here, where I explain things, and maybe you haven't subscribed to the channel, or you subscribe to the channel and you don't get to YouTube readily, and you want in your inbox every week notifications about everything that I'm doing, then you want to join my newsletter. The link is in the description. Click that link right now and you put in your email, and you'll get your first newsletter today and your second one tomorrow. The back to school issue's coming out already. And then you'll get a new episode, a new issue every week in your email. And so I just want to remind you that that's available to you now. I don't want to lose you. I want to keep you in my community. I want to keep you coming back to watch videos, and liking, sharing, all of that stuff is helpful, certainly on the YouTube. And I appreciate all of the contributions that you give, just showing up here, watching these videos and learning from them, posting your questions, sharing your stuff. The whole reason we have content here to share with you today is because other parents were brave enough to share their comments, their questions, what they've been doing, so that we can talk about it today and learn from other parents' experiences. That's what we do in a community, and that's why I encourage you to show up every week. So without further ado, let's get into these 5 tips. Now, the number one reason, we're going to, again, talking about 5 reasons late talkers choose to do their own thing when the alternative, attractive, cooperative experiences are available, okay? And the number one reason, not the number one, the first one that I'm going to be talking about with you today, I think it's also the number one, but I don't know, I don't have the data about that. You just know which ones of these come up in your life, okay? You have the experience with your late talker, and they're all different. With each one of these, it's up to you to decide which one of those are resonating or happening in your life. Okay, so number one, children who have been highly prompted, like this little guy that we talked about who has understood the numbers. Hand over hand, like when you really help them do a lot of things hand over hand, or they have watched the same kind of thing over and over and over again, because it's not just people who prompt kids, it's repetitive information that prompts kids. I believe this because I hear it and I see it all the time. So they can learn this prompting, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this, and get in that mindset of you should do this, you should do this. And they see it as somebody outside of themselves. The video, the teacher, the whatever. And when a lot of that you should do this comes at you, you start to get defensive and fiercely independent in your activities, because you don't want to be told what to do, how to do. Remember, you get to thinking about, these kids are thinking about how and why they are doing these things. And they have distinct ways that they like to do things, and they want things to happen. Just like you have expectations of them to keep a certain behavior standard, act a certain way when they go places because you teach them and model that. They expect the same from you, okay? And when all they can expect from you is prompting and prompting and prompting and prompting, then they will escape to be doing things on their own, because they don't want to be controlled and they don't want to have to perform for you. They want to spend time doing their thing their way, their thing that they chose for their reasons their way. And they don't want to share that experience with you because they feel like you taint it, you disturb it, you violate it even sometimes. And so that's why they isolate. Now, what you can do about this is, we talk about this all the time. Swap your prompting with demonstration, okay? So if you've got some cool, fun thing to do, you're going to demonstrate how cool and fun that is, all right? And then you're going to offer easy cooperative experiences that empower the child to experience independent learning. They want to be an independent learner. They enjoy figuring out how the blocks stack together. They enjoy figuring out how deep they can dig a hole. They enjoy these things. They enjoy their own exploration. So you want to facilitate that exploration in a cooperative manner. They're learning with you, not without you, okay, while you're together. And you're offering coaching and support for the child while they are learning on their own how to be independent in this job. That's why they're doing it. They like how they do it, okay? And they might not be doing it the right way, but they want to get better, okay? So here is how this can look for you. Let me put this away and bring out a video so you can see. In this video, we've got a mom and a little boy who are working together to bake these cupcakes or whatever they're making over here. And this late talker wants to do it himself. He's independent, fiercely independent. I don't want you to hold it over me. I don't want you to do it for me. I want to do it myself, my way. Let's look at what this mom does. So she is hand over handing just a little bit, and then she lets go. And she just supports. She's holding the bowl. She's switching the knob for him because he doesn't know. He's got to focus on it. Now he looks in what she did. He learned how she adjusted it. He's watching other people around him and he's not focusing on his bowl right now. So she's got her hand on his back and just barely touching that thing to be able to let him hold. And she's probably teaching him, you have to move it around the sides. You have to do this and that, right? Because she wants him to have the experience of, I did it, not we did it, not I did it with your help, but I did it. These independent kids, that's what they are seeking. They want these independent experiences. I didn't need you to prompt me through it. I didn't need you to hand over hand me. I am a big independent kid and I can do these things by myself. Now that's their mindset about this. Remember, this is a mindset choice because they don't believe that you can be supportive, because maybe you haven't proved to them that you can be demonstrating and coaching versus, nope, you got to do it this way. And every time they mess up, you jump in and make it safe. And you don't make messes because it comes out your way. Remember, when you're in these cooperative experiences with a late talker, you don't know what the outcome is going to be. They're making the outcome. You are facilitating their independence with you. You're just there to make sure that they know that you are supporting them in their learning and that you can teach them things. Like when she turned down the speed on the mixer, that late talker was like, oh, it got easier when you did that. When the mixer is slower, I can hold it better and I can do whatever. And a good language facilitator mom is going to talk through those thought process as they're happening with the child, because you're there connected. You see the child's reaction when they, oh, that was a surprise, or, oh no, we spilled it, or, whatever. And then they're going to react. I like this, or I'm worried, or I'm excited, or I'm scared. And in each one of those situations, you're there connected with them in a cooperative learning experience. So they know that if they mess up, it's not going to be on them. They're not going to have egg on their face. They're going to have you to help support them. And then it'll help them take more risks and be more independent to bring their efforts in the world to show other people, because they know they've got support versus judgment or, demanding, on them. So that's the number one reason that kids will avoid. Let's move into number two. The number two reason that I'm going to talk to you today about why late talkers choose to isolate is because these super smart late talkers have spent time, lots and lots of time, in their own minds, in their own spaces that they created, either physical or even in their own mind, because kid can be in a crowded room and be isolated, okay? And what they're doing in their own head is they're spending time with their genius method. They're thinking through it. They're using observation. Oh, and they're relating. Hopefully that's not too loud. They're doing the lawn work outside. They're doing and it's distracting me. Sorry about that, everybody. So the late talkers, they spend their alone time practicing and practicing and practicing their theories and evolving and evolving and evolving what they're doing. And they don't want to be disturbed, right? They're in their genius at this moment. These are things they never have done before, and they are experimenting. They're developing, they're trying, they're doing all this stuff through their own methods. That's why they spend time alone practicing their theories and evolving their ideas, and they don't want to be interrupted. It's interrupting the genius. That's why one of the reasons this happens. Now, what parents can do when you have a super smart genius kid who's in there working and in their stuff is that you have to see it, observe what they're doing, and show them that their genius method is something that is at least interesting to you and maybe even helpful or fun or create some real value like helpfulness or fun in your life. And wow, this is acknowledgement of the genius, right? So you're acknowledging the value you get from their ideas as you describe your perspective of their method and offer constructive feedback. So this is the reach and teach thing. And I have a video here to show you how this looks. So this video is about a little girl who wants her mom to do TikTok videos with her. And a lot of little kids do. And she's, this is the dance I want to do. And the mom's like, all right, whatever. Let's see what happens first. The mom watches this little girl and she's doing the thing, the whatever she's doing. The mom's like, all right, I'm not sure how valuable this is, but she's like, watch me. Now watch me. All right. Now, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? And she's doing the same as the little girl. Now, watch the mom. As the video moves on, the mom's adapting. She's doing the down low. And now she's going to come back up. She's going to come back up. And the little girl turns around and she follows the mom. And they've done the mom has connected with this daughter about this TikTok video or whatever she wanted to make her own self. And as they were in the activity, by the mom reaching into the child's world, she got the child to join together. So they were doing it together and it was super excited. The child was super excited. Yes, mom, you're doing it just like me. You're doing it right because I have a way. My way, the way I like, the way I know, the way that I'm good at, my genius way that I've been developing is this thing. This little girl knew exactly how to do that move with her head and enough so that she could demonstrate it for her mom. And her mom took the time to watch and look, and she did just, she's like, all right, I get it. It looks fun. Let me try. And then she tried. And the little girl was thrilled that her mom had joined her. So thrilled that mom was like, all right, let's add some extra moves. And the little girl was in a learning mindset then. She just took it from her. The mom laid it down. The girl picked it up. The girl laid it down. The mom picked it up. That's how cooperative learning goes. And you don't have it on the other side, right? Now, this little girl, this mom and little girl were already together. If your late talker doesn't want to bring their genius to you, you have to go and parallel with them. So maybe offer to imitate them. They might not ask you. Like in this video, this little girl came to the mom to ask her to do it, but your late talker might be so in their own world, they don't believe that you want to. They don't know that you want to unless you tell them, I want to. I'm going to be there with you. Can you show me what you're doing? Show me what that looks like. That's the demonstration you need to imitate them and say, am I doing it right? And then you do it and they see you and they get engaged. That's it. Automatically. You're on the same team again. You're talking about the same thing. You're doing the same thing at the same time. And that's how you get an isolated kid to join you, reach into their world and show them that you appreciate it, that you value it just as much as you value when they come into your world and follow your directions and do your things and all of that stuff. Okay? Yep. And this next one, we're going to talk about that. So now let's move into number 3. And I love this one. This is for strong-willed kids. Okay, so they're strong-willed kids when they are firm in their rules, their way, their rules, their best. I don't like the other way they're doing it. I like my way or the highway. Strong will, right? They resist new ideas, strong-willed kids, because they fear that they won't get their expected outcome outside of their comfort zone, which is their rules, their way. And they've got an outcome that they have in mind. They come into the experience with an outcome in mind. And this is really important for parents to understand about kids, all kids, especially late talkers. Even if they're not saying, I want to do this, they are telling you non-verbally. How about this? How about we do it this way? How about you give me the whole box of cookies? How about we drive for 5 hours instead of 2? How about, they're always going to push the envelope. They're always going to want their thing their way. And it might not be the way that you are offering or the way that's common. And this is why they will resist. They'll be like, all right, if you're not going to join me in my world and you're not going to meet me where I am, then I am out of here. I'm just going my own way. And maybe it's not reasonable what they're doing. Let's talk about that. So what you're going to do with these kids, is you have to acknowledge their desired outcome from their perspective, just like we talked about, and cooperate with experiments, right? These kids are trial and erroring in their head the whole time. Is this how I want to do it? Is this how I want to do it? I think this is how I want to do it. And that's their hypothesis. I believe this is what I want. I know my rules. I know my history. Because they're bringing their ego into it, strong-willed kids. My ego is on display here. You need to see my ego. And so what you need to do is you need to open up experiments, right? We know these kids like to experiment. They know they've been experimenting. When I do this, I get this reaction. So I want to do this every time because I want to get this reaction every time. And so what you need to do is you need to test their theories with them cooperatively. And if the plan fails, then you can offer a new hypothesis to test cooperatively. You don't offer to say, all right, your plan broke. Now you got to do it my way. You bring the old test. If the old test fails, if the old test succeeds, then you talk about the success. But if the old test fails, then you start a new test. You don't just make the new decision because your child did, you're wrong. The last thing a strong-willed late talker wants to hear is, I'm right, you're wrong. They come into this with a mindset of, I'm right, you're wrong. And they don't want to hear the opposite of that. They don't want to be proved wrong, yet they might not be correct. So let's look at how this happens, because remember, they are ignorant in their isolation. They're not able to use all of the alternative resources that you can offer them when they are stuck in isolation. And that just creates more and more and more strong will, because I'm afraid that I don't know what's going to happen. So they're going to force the control on you. All right, let's look at this video. So I found this video when I was looking for strong-willed kids. And this is obviously is a very tall child. He's nearly almost as tall as this mom's shoulder. And he wants to sit inside of this cart, this shopping buggy, whatever you call it, where you live, before they go into the store. Let's look at the video of what this mom does with this kid. So she's like, all right, you want to go in the seat? Let's go in the seat. And she's going to put him in the back, but he doesn't want to go in the back. He wants to sit like the toddlers sit. And she goes, all right, well, let's experiment with this. Now we got this. Here we are. You strong child sitting in the cart. Look at her with her hand by her chin. Do you think that this is going to be comfortable for you for the whole thing? And the child might be like, yes or no, or they might try to hold into their thing like, yeah, but he doesn't look very comfortable. I mean, it looks kind of interesting, but not like for a whole store thing. And I suspect what could happen next is they could talk about, she starts to talk about the experiment. All right, here you go. You do fit. Do you even fit in the car? Yes, we know you fit because I hoisted you up here and I put you in, and now you're in. Now, when we go in the store, if you want to run around, it's going to be pretty hard to get out of this position. And because what your future store experience is going to be. How does this child typically go in the store? Or, would you be more comfortable if you just hunkered down in the big part? Or do you want to push the cart now that you're a big kid? Or these other alternatives? And then you can say, we can try. Why don't you try sitting in the big part and see the difference? So now you sat in the little part, maybe you can sit in the big part. Okay, so does that feel better? Which one do you like? All right, neither one's good. What did you want to get out and push? It's up to you because you're in charge here and we're figuring out how you can get to your outcome of I want to be in the cart in the store, or I want to have some control over cart situation. That's why they're like, I want to be in, I want to be out, I want to run around, I want to push, I want to ride, I want to whatever, my way or the highway. That's the strong-willed child bringing their will to the situation. And you're like, Mom's like, how can my child's will fit with this situation? How can we have win-win? And you can. When you experiment and experiment and experiment, don't say, no, you got to do it this way. This is the rules. That's not going to help your child join you. It'll get through, but it's an isolated thing, my way or the highway, because remember, you can't combat my way or the highway with my way or the highway. You're just going to get more isolation. And the idea here is to facilitate the connection. So it's about problem solving together. And late talkers are amazing problem solvers. And they just don't have great ideas from the first part. And they don't want to be called out in their bad ideas. They just want to be coached into different ones, new ones that they decide to do, not you decide to do. Because remember, a strong-willed child's not going to accept it. They won't follow it. They'll do it because you say, they'll be obedient, if you bribe them or, sticks or carrots. But that's not independent motivation. And these kids are already very independent. So most of the time, just like on the examples, they know how to do these things. They just are stuck in their strong will and separation, and they're not being efficient with their energy and their time and using a connection and using resources like you to help them. They just don't know because they don't trust, because maybe you haven't given them any examples of how you can be a resource for them. And that's what this video is all about. All right. Let's move on because we've got another scenario. There's 2 more to go. Number 4 is late talkers who are tech addicted, right? And this is happening very, very commonly. These kids will literally physically try to swipe you away or swipe them. They'll cover their ears. They'll cover their eyes. They'll close their eyes and cover their ears. No, like this while you're talking to them because they're trying to turn you off. They're trying to swipe away or shut you down. You know what I mean? What button can I push to make this experience go? Because they know on here they can find whatever video they want. And if they don't like it, they can swipe in a second and make it go away. They can skip the ads. They can do all that stuff, right? And this is facilitating isolation. Your child is trying to control you because they don't appreciate what you're giving them. And if they are tech addicted and they don't appreciate you as a better alternative to their device, then they will swipe you away, literally controlling themselves physically or controlling you physically. All right. So what do you do if this is your situation, or what can you do? My advice is that you offer easy physical experiences. So we got to put the tech down and use your body, use your hands, use your feet, use your body, use your mouth, use your body somehow to do some physical experience. Now, remember, these kids are not inclined. If they are tech addicted, they don't have strong muscles yet. They haven't been out running around in the sunshine, kicking balls and riding bikes. They prefer to watch other kids do that on their devices. And if they are game players, if they are problem solvers, if they like to do the puzzles, if they like to line things up, if they like to organize things and they're doing all that, you have to think about, again, the kinds of activities that kids do on tech. Watching the same thing over and over again, really short clips of videos, the kinds of input that they're accustomed to and they are comfortable. Custom comfort, all comfort zone stuff. Comfort zone isolates. I'm alone with my comfort zone, right? How many of us do this? And when you keep, so it's important that you keep these outside physical, put the phone down and do this activities, keep them short and be ready to change and adapt quickly, because when they swipe you, you got to be ready with the next intervention that is going to be more attractive. That's what their mindset is looking for. Incorporate challenges in these experiences for the tech gamers, the ones that like the patterns, the ones that memorize the tens of numbers, the ones that they want to challenge. Can I memorize all 10 numbers? Can I do this thing? And again, it's a physical thing that they do with their body that they are learning. And that's how you're going to get the kids away from the tech into the world, slowly, bit by bit, as they come into the world for shared physical experiences. Let me show you an example of how that looks on a video. So here is a mom who is wanting to clean the windows with this little girl. I love this idea because literally they can look out the window and see, oh my goodness, I can't see the trees because there's dust on the window or dirt on the window, or this is where your handprints were because you smeared it, or this is where the dog licked it, or all those things that you see both on the glass and through the glass are the whole reason that you are cleaning the glass, and you want to be able to see out, or you want to be able to get those schmearies out of the way. So there's a real reason. And man, this is a fun job. Look at what we're doing. We're cleaning and doing, and mom gets the spray bottle. See, this little girl's already distracted. They're all swiping and she's already distracted, looking the other way. But mom gets the spray bottle out. She's just got water in here and she's just having fun with this water. And she's spraying it, and it got on the girl, and she's like, oh, it got wet. And she's like, look, I'm spraying. She turned her right back around, and she got her there. And now she's letting her do this independently. Look at you. You're getting that. Ooh, there's one up there. There's the spray. I'm spraying for you. Here's a little spray. Get this one. Oh, look at that. And she's engaging with her daughter about her daughter's experience. She's just watching from the back, supervising, hand over hand, very much like that other mom did with the cooking. But this is a physical experience that's easy. She's just wiping. She doesn't even have to spray the spray bottle. If the next time they do this, mom could teach her how to make the spray and how much is too much and all of those things about it, because these are just little opportunities to get her out. Yeah, we're wiping the window. Why? Oh, wait, forgot the spray bottle. The spray bottle makes it more fun. Let's spray this and let's spray this, because you wipe the dog prints or the handprints away fast. But now you can spray a little water on the window and you connect it. Oh, there's that spot. Little quick things that keep the child engaged. And then when you're done, you talk about why you did. And then you put the gloves and the things away in the cabinet where they go. And you talk about how happy you are that your late talker helped you solve this problem. Because remember, what they like to do if they're gamers is get to the next level. We did it. Woohoo! You made it. Achievement. All of those things. In your life, those things that you do, you cook, you bake things together, you clean things together, you build things together. These are your achievements that you bring into the real world that are physical things that are outside of the tablet. And they have to be so easy and short at first. And then you can build and build time as your child becomes, wow, this was fun. I like doing this. I'm willing to put the device down to be able to join you. And this is what you want. Okay. So if a child's too fiercely independent with their devices, that is what you do. All right. Moving into number 5. I'm not seeing any questions today, so these must be really good tips for everybody. If you do have a question on this video, post it in the comments. And don't forget about the newsletter sign up. All right. Number 5. This is when there are late talkers who are just shy. They might be social with some people, but they're just super shy and embarrassed about their speech delay. They know they can't talk as well as other kids, and they choose to isolate themselves so that others don't approach them. They don't want to have conversation. They aren't chatty on purpose because they can't be. They know they don't, they feel bad about themselves when other people ask them to talk and ask them to do things and ask them to do whatever, because they feel like that's hard. And that's not how friendship should be, where I should be able to be silently with my friend and they just accept me for who I am as my silent little kid, right? That's what happens. And they do at school. They're like, look, as long as you leave me alone while I play over here by the blocks, I'm just fine. Now they're not evolving that. They're maintaining their comfort zone because they're embarrassed about their lack of ability. So here's how you can help these kids come out into the world and take chances, because this kid's just too afraid to try. This is the strategy that I have for you, is that you're going to create community experiences. So, or take your child to community experiences. The one I have is a family-based one, but you could do this on community parties, at the park, at restaurants, at play groups, at the trampoline, place where you go to play, whatever. You can find other communities where you can take your child and use these community experiences as your sort of training ground for helping your child develop their confidence to share their wisdom publicly, wherever they are. So you want to create these experiences where the lay talker can observe others working together, and you can coach them like that. Ooh, look at them and how they're doing it. Ooh, they're talking to each other. They're taking turns. They're sharing ideas. They're whatever. That kid's the boss. Look at all the kids are listening to him, but that kid doesn't want to. He's angry with him. When we observe other people doing their own natural social communication, then we can learn from those experiences. You can be your lay talker's coach when you go to these places. And then when you finally they get to the point where they're comfortable, you let them take the lead and guide you in your experiences. Because remember, they are in their head coming up with their genius about how this should happen. And as soon as they share their genius with you, you can expand on it. Oh, you want me to do this, and you want me to do that, and you want me to say this, and you want me to say that, because that's what they do. These kids need training. They feel incapable. They don't feel well enough prepared to go and be social kids. They need some social training from you. That's why they're isolating, because they don't feel capable. So letting the child take the lead in your one-on-one interactions and following their guidance. And then you can do it in small group activities too. Let's look at how this looks on a video that I have for you. And this video, again, is about a family at the beach. And so the lay talker is here, and he's really doing his own thing, and so are they. Everybody's digging. They're all building sandcastles. Everybody's talking about how they're doing it, if they're digging or patting or scooping or pouring or whatever they're doing. And now here the lay talker is with his mom and dad, and he's not digging at all. He's watching mom and dad, and dad's kind of asking, am I doing it right? Just like that other mom. And he's like, no, you need to put more sand. You need to do more whatever. And he's using the child as a resource. Now, in this video, you see the family sort of split the kids into teams, and they're working cooperatively. The parents are doing the work right alongside with the child to show them how easy it is. You can do this, and I can do this, and let's do it together. And we talk about our experiences and what they're doing and what we're doing. They're sort of their hole is getting deeper and our hole is getting deeper, to teach the child how to relate, right? That's what we're talking about here, is how do they relate to these other people? What do they have in common? What can they talk about? How can this lay talker find resources in the other person? I'm just going to watch you. All right, how you scoop is how I'm going to scoop. Okay, I'm learning from you. And they're learning cooperatively at the same time. Now, in those experiences, these kids don't look very independent. They look like they're joining the parents to learn from the parents. And this is what we're going for here. The whole reason you're watching this video is because your child's in the habit of just maybe using you as a resource to get their needs independently. They only come to you when they want something. They only come to you when they can't open the thing. They're not coming to you to say, look at what I did and how I'm growing and how I'm learning and what my superpower is and all of that stuff. If that's your reality with your lay talker, it's up to you. It won't change without you reaching into their isolated world and teaching them what they need. They need to bring it out. So if they need social skills training, you got to do social skills training. If they need independent skills training, you got to do that. If they need to learn what is available to them instead of the tech, or how social experiences can feel safe, that's what these strategies are going to help you do. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So this was a really big video packed with strategies. I hope that it was helpful for you. Please hit the thumbs up button and like this video. And I'm also going to remind you, I always say and a lot. I remember that I say that a lot. Maybe I'll try to stop that. But what I want to remind you too is about how to meet me. I am going to be in Dallas this month, August 24th. If you are interested in meeting me, I need to hear from you. Send me a message, make a comment on this video, send me an email, find me at wavesofcommunication.com. Let me know you're going to be there because I want to connect with you. I have stickers, fun stickers, and Parents Are the Best Speech Facilitator stickers to give out. I'll be signing books. I'll be talking with parents and answering questions about their language facilitation journey. All of those things. I'm interested in meeting you in person and learning your backgrounds and your perspectives and all of that, because remember, as a community, I want to provide information that's going to help everybody, and I want to meet you in person. And then Labor Day weekend, I'm going to be in Orlando. So stay tuned for the Orlando information. I'm still kind of putting together all the nuts and bolts about where I'm going to be and when. But it's going to be Labor Day weekend. So if you're in Orlando or Florida at all, and you're going to be in Orlando over Labor Day weekend, definitely comment on this video and we'll connect, because I want to learn more from you about your language facilitation journey. Maybe we can even do an interview. So all of those things are available. And the newsletter, one more time, visit wavesofcommunication.com or the link in the description of this video for you to sign up for the newsletter. You can get in there right now. Don't forget the books are available. If your child is independent, if your child is too prompt dependent or prompt avoidant, if they are not using words yet, if they're not even being social yet, if they're completely nonverbal, this workbook is designed to help you create the experiences that I talked about today and put them into your life and facilitate the spoken language that your late talker's missing. Even if they are using words, right? They're using speech that they've memorized, they're imitating things, they're labeling things. That's not spoken language that they can use functionally outside in the world. And that's what we're facilitating here. Independent, unprompted spoken language that late talkers can use to share not just their wants and needs, but why they want and need those things, and all of their feelings and wisdom and novel ideas. These are the things that are being generated in those isolated little brains, and it's your job as the facilitator to bring them out into the world. Hopefully these strategies will get you started, and I can't wait to learn on future videos about your progress. So let me know how it goes. Comment on this video, share it with your friends, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye for now.